Thursday. A little barbell fun today, or dumbbell fun, lunges into squats and some kind of classic circuits. Everything's feeling good, and start off today. We'll get a little reach and rotate, that usual side bend. Go in here. So as you reach, when you get here, if you feel stuck, we really want to try and reach to the shoulder blade and bring the bicep to the ear. So we're essentially getting a really good lat stretch at the same time. And then from there, a little different one. We're going to lock the hands behind the back, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and then turn the palms down and keeping the shoulder blades back. We will then press down. Now, some of you, this is one area that I'm still a little tight, so I can't actually get full lockout here. So I'm going to just keep everything squeezed back and stretch through those forearms and wrists and try to get this all locked out. Now, some of you will be able to get locked out. You can get fully locked out, then you're going to lift everything up behind you. But if you're not locked out, we're not lifting yet. We're just trying to open that up. We'll hang out here for about 15 seconds more. And make sure your shoulders don't start tipping forward like this. And then still holding this position, if you were able to lift off your back, go ahead and lower your hands back to your back. Just make sure everything's locked out nice and straight. And from here, then we're going to do some careful neck tilts. We'll have a little different feel with everything anchored behind you. Hitting a little bit more of some of the tissues along the sides and back of the neck than usual. Then you can go ahead and release that, shake that out. We'll go into our kind of regular everyday garden variety full upper spinal circles. Back. And then we're going to head to the ground for a handful of warm-ups for the squats, lunges, etc. So maybe padding would be helpful, but carpeting and whatnot is good as well. We're going to do, first thing we're going to do is the collapsed child's pose position. So palms up, elbows to knees, back is flat. And we'll do 2 big expansive breaths here to stretch out the rib cage and the low back. A couple breaths there. Go into the cat camel. And 3 to 5 of these, depending on how quick your cadence is. And we'll come into neutral in a couple of the kneeling hip circles. So knees up, rotate, feel the butt. And notice no tilting of the spine, no arching of the back. Should all be just in that hip joint. Other side. It's the same drill we do standing, just we're changed our relationship with gravity here a little bit. And then come into the 90-90 position. And first thing we'll do is work a little bit of that forward fold. Now we're warming up here, so we're just going to do is kind of some dynamic lean-ins so you feel a bit of a stretch and then press back out. So do about 5 of these. They're kind of like a good morning, but we're using our hands fully to assist us as we're just kind of easing into the position for the session. And we'll press up. Now sitting up tall, we're going to rotate ourselves toward that back foot, kind of sitting that back hip down and in. Hang out here for roughly 30 seconds. That's kind of opening up this back hip. The more we can rotate our hips, Better positioning we'll get into for our squats. Last thing, then we'll take that front leg out straight, intensifies it here a little bit for about 15 seconds. This is the half 90 position. Recoil that leg. If you've got the setup where you can do a nice transfer over to the other side, go ahead and do so. Just going to pivot around here. Mat is a little on the thin side. Over to the other side, we'll repeat that process. So we're folding forward, pressing back up for 5 reps again. Sit up tall, rotate toward that back leg, drop that hip down and in. Hold in here for about 30 seconds. Finally taking that front leg out straight. Last little bit of prep we're going to do is kneel. That foot nice and flat, so we're sitting on the shin here. I think this is sometimes referred to as a shooter squat. Basically, I'm going to line my knee up as you see with my toes here. I don't want to be kicked out or excessively in either, so everything's nice and lined up. And then I'm going to work to drive that knee forward, creating a greater calf and ankle stretch here. So I'm trying to mobilize that forward and stretching out my my soleus and my calf for specific to squatting or lunging. Now, if you happen to have a dumbbell or kettlebell handy, you can, that's another thing, you can park that on your knee, which gives a little bit more leverage. I'll show you the side angle here. But as long as you're flexible enough, I can come over top of this to give myself quite a bit of leverage to stretch that out. And you'll also stretch out the low back nicely. Change sides, sitting back and dropping in. This can be a bit of a challenging one though. It does require a certain amount of flexibility to be able to get into it. Again, the weighted one is always an option as well if you choose. Okay. You can spend a little bit more time on that. You can pause if you want. If you feel any of those you need to address a little bit more. Otherwise, we will move into part A. So a couple options, basically the same workout, whether or not you have a barbell. If you have a barbell, you're going to have a bar on your back, like a back squat. If you have dumbbells or kettlebells, ideally you have them in the front rack. So pair of kettlebells, pair of dumbbells, maybe a mismatch possibly, kettlebell, dumbbell. If you have one, we're going to go goblet style with a heavy load. And another option, I know a few people have sandbags, perhaps a Zercher sandbag could work on this one as well. So we're in 4 sets or rounds to this, which is essentially, it's a complex. You're going to do 10 alternating lunges, that's 5 per side. So let's pretend this is my barbell here, right? I take it out of the rack, I'm set, I step back. It's basically like a ground split squat. I'm just stepping back into it, I'm alternating legs. So it's 3, 4, etc. Let's say that's 10. And immediately at the same load, I'm going to move my feet into my squatting stance. And I'm going to immediately go into 1, 2, explode up. 1, 2, explode up. I'm going to do 10 reps with the same weight as like a complex. Then I'm going to rack the bar and I'm going to rest 2 full minutes and do it again. Trying to increase gradually each set. So start the first set relatively easy and work your way up. Now the load you're going to be able to do these lunges with isn't going to be a super heavy squat weight. However, after doing the lunges and then going right into squats, it may actually feel fairly heavy. It's essentially 20 straight reps. And so plan accordingly. If you have weightlifting shoes, this might be one to wear them in. If you really like the feel of the more upright squats we've done, As long as you have little plates you can step on. I don't think I'd use the wedge for this. I would use plates. Just make sure it's right there so you're not taking a lot of time transferring from your lunges to your squats. You want to be able to get right into it. Okay, so that's part A. I'll see you in a little bit. Okay, part B. Now that your legs are spiced up, the very unusual AMRAP number of 13 minutes, just because. You'll do essentially a sort of a variation of the classic Cindy workout. You're gonna do 5 pull-ups or chin-ups or mixed grip or rings, however you want to do them. If you can do 5 pull-ups, even if you have to split it up, I'd suggest trying to go with that. Otherwise, let's ring row, TRX row, or bar row in a rack if you have that. Third option then is find some sort of a other weighted rowing movement that will sub in there. So 5 of those, 10 alternating single leg pistol squats. So if you can do these fully, this would be a great time to do it. Other options that are good are the bench pistol, right? Where I'm lowering down, touching, and coming back up. So that can be a good scaling. You can also use the version where you stand on a higher box and your leg dangles. You want to do. That one I would not necessarily suggest for this because it's just like the lunges, it's alternating. You want to go left, right, left, right. If you can do them freestanding, it works really well. So you switch from leg to leg. Same thing the bench allows you going left, right, left, right. But if you're on a box, you have to do a rep, then you have to step, you have to turn around, do a rep, flip around, do a rep. You can do it, it's an option, but the other ones would be more efficient. And then finally, 15 basic push-ups, scaling to a higher surface if needed to get through 15. So 5 pull-ups, 10 alternating pistols, 15 push-ups, max reps in 13 minutes. And then we'll do part C. Okay, the range work to wrap this one up today. We have 2 rounds, cross bench pullovers. I've done these for a little while. We've done variants of it. A bench or chairs work great too. This is the one where we get a dumbbell, preferably. Kettlebells work too. I could potentially use barbell plates also. And I'm going to bridge up, shoulders on the bench. I want to be a nice strong bridge. And there's versions you can do where you drop this into. You want to stay in this nice planked out position today. Start is here. Then I'm going to reach my arms mostly straight back into a full stretch and then back to the top. So we're doing 10 reps today. You want to find a weight that gives a good stretch and does present a bit of strength challenge, but not such a heavy weight that it makes you start cutting the range of motion because it's so heavy. You want to have to find a weight that's the sweet spot that gives you a deep stretch, but so not so light, it's trivial, but not so heavy, it tightens you up and makes you shorten the range. Okay? And then 10 of those, and then we will be doing the 15-second per side single leg table holds. So this is our shoulder flexion exercise. This one will be our shoulder extension exercise. So table position, drive the hips up to parallel, and then you're going to take and lock off one leg out straight, thighs parallel, switch it out. So 15 seconds per side, really trying to open the shoulders as much as you can. So 2 rounds through that. And that is the Thursday workout.